Okay, so what are we now doing on that 40 acres is we have shifted from just a few cows and some hay that they were doing to an organic food production process, but we're also doing it through research. So there are grants available for food production research to help us kickstart and develop new varieties, biodiverse, for a new market in Durango. We also have an Airbnb on the property for experiential hospitality. So that's another rent. We have a long-term rental on the property also. So there can be buildings on these properties. 36 acres is left as conservation, but in 4 acres, we have a building envelope to do these things. We also run education programs off of that. So there's different revenue streams coming in to support the property.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Erika, and today I'm excited to have Jennifer Thurston on the show with me today. She's doing something really unique in the real estate world that we don't talk about too often, and it's that she has a real passion for conserving land. Jennifer, it's awesome to have you on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And Jennifer, I would love for you to kick us off and tell us how this journey got started for you. How did you become passionate about conserving land, and how did that tie into real estate?
Well, I started on, I work on a project that's mostly my family land that was acquired starting in 1978, south of Durango, Colorado. And we gathered up quite a few parcels and acreages. And the biggest part that shifted it for me to become a real estate professional and to create a project based on acquisition of property, renovating them, renting them, and putting them into this conservation easement began because of estate succession of land amongst the family. And it is a very serious issue in the United States at this point in time, as most farmers and ranchers are all in our elder stages, and we have large tracts of land. Then we might not have a next generation that is interested in farming that land and working with that land.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And yet we still have no desire to really lose the land, to watch it be developed. So creating a process and a model for people to be able to conserve that land, keep it in its open state, while also having it available for succession to the next generation, but also making it profitable and part of a sustainable business model. And even if it's not the person that owns the land at this time, you could be that real estate person to step in and say, look, I'm going to help you do this. And either we do it in a partnership or maybe I'm going to acquire your land. But this is what I want to do with it. And they're much more willing to sell it to you because you are conserving it, because they wouldn't have gotten into farming, ranching, or any land orientated process if they didn't love land. So that's one of the things that we want to, is important about it. So it's been a many year, technically started DSM Land LLC in 2010. As it became very apparent that I was going to need to come up with a model to deal with my 6 other siblings, in this real estate succession process.
Yeah, wow, it makes a lot of sense that when it comes to someone selling a property and if they bought it for the land, that they're really considering that then when they go sell that. Do you help kind of match those two parties up, or what is that like?
I personally haven't worked extensively in that, but I do work with a land trust, and I do work with what are called land access organizations, Colorado Land Link, Colorado Guidestone, La Plata Open Space Conservancy is my land trust. So I help through them. They've come across people or that are looking for this kind of model. And so through them, I help give them my example and show this is what I think you should be, how we can make this work for you. Because you do have to end up thinking outside the box. You have to think, okay, what is a sustainable business model that can then be created to sustain that land for many generations down the way? Since farming might not have been it, most people think then the only thing you can do is do a subdivision or a development or a strip mall or something. And it's like, oh no, let's think about, we've got agroforestry, we've got experiential hospitality, we have mental health therapies, if it's, depending. And that's what we operate on all of our acres is multiple different businesses that can coexist and work together, but keeping the land conserved through those processes. And they're different than what the land has been doing for up until this point. But that means we just have to be more creative. Don't it's only grown corn, so you can only grow corn or soybeans or whatever, or hay. And it's like, no, we can think outside that box.
Yeah, that is really fascinating and also really exciting for the different kinds of opportunities there. Jennifer, can you share some examples with your own experience of where some of these creative ideas have come about?
Yeah, so as our first 180 acres went into conservation easement in 2022, what made it able to happen is, first of all, it is conservation worthy property. That's most important. It's a major wildlife corridor just south of, big city of Durango. And it has scenic views. It also has archaeological sites and Native American traditions on that land. But we had to get at least 180 acres to make our first start. And once the last 40 acres that we acquired to put into that 180 were held by a couple who were farming the 40, retired, and were very happy to hear that we would acquire their 40 acres and keep it in conservation and keep it in agriculture.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So we were able to negotiate a very reasonable price to purchase that property because it was something that they felt good about, even though the three sons that they had were not interested in the land, and that was especially it. So a lot of negotiations. But usually, as I say, the people who own land of large tracts or were farmers, they do it. We don't farm because we like farming per se. It's more of a lifestyle. It is something that you do because you have a passion for. It's too hard and it's, too frustrating or something to do just because. So then the land is one of those key elements that keep people farming because that attraction to the land. So we confirmed to them, okay, we're going to keep your land. Okay, so what are we now doing on that 40 acres is we have shifted from just a few cows and some hay that they were doing to an organic food production process, but we're also doing it through research. So there are grants available for food production research to help us kickstart and develop new varieties, biodiverse, for a new market in Durango. We also have an Airbnb on the property for experiential hospitality. So that's another rent. We have a long-term rental on the property also. So there can be buildings on these properties. 36 acres is left as conservation, but in 4 acres, we have a building envelope to do these things. We also run education programs off of that. So there's different revenue streams coming in to support the property. We were able to pay off a majority of the debt on that property once we purchased it, at least 50%, because of the sale of Colorado conservation tax credits. That's an amazing revenue stream. That's where I say that Colorado is an incentive state. It provides major incentive to encourage people to put land into conservation as it's been rapidly developing over the last 25 years in Colorado. And so they're making it an incentive to try and prevent every 40 acre, every farmland and everything. Now, it does have to have some conservation value. You can't just pick a 40-acre piece out in the middle of the grasslands with no conservation threat and expect to do this kind of process. You do have to choose lands that are conservation worthy. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, when you were talking about the tax credits there related to land conservation, are you aware of other states that are offering this too besides Colorado? Colorado is where your land is, correct?
Correct. Correct. So I'm in Durango, Colorado. Yes, there are other incentive states. New Mexico is increasing their incentive. California has always had a good incentive state. Much of the Midwest is now also stepping in through what they call agricultural land conservation spaces. They recognize, and if it's not specifically the state, there are organizations. Now, if you do vast tracts, of land. Some Nature Conservancy, the Conservation Fund, they don't generally support private conservation. They're out to do a lot more public spaces. And that is a big difference is land conservation in a private conservation easement does not mean you have given it to the public. That's a misnomer. They think that only once you conserve it, everybody can work on it. It's like, no, that's public conservation. Their private conservation easements means you're just conserving land. You don't have to let people on it. We do because it becomes a revenue stream. So we have focused public access is the term where we can control who is coming on and off of the land, but it is a revenue production for us because we allow that. But you don't have to. but there are quite a few states or organizations, cattlemen's. They do a lot up in Montana, the Cattlemen's Association. So there are a lot of people, organizations that back any conservation if your state isn't a conservation incentive state. But most of them have some incentives. Colorado has increased theirs in desperation to get more people to conserve land.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And it's great. Then you also, the federal deductions are always there. So you can monetize the state credits, the federal deductions for an investor. For me, if they have a large capital gains coming in from a lot of real estate transactions, we're able to provide them with the federal deductions because as a payback option for them. And then the other is being able to also take tax deductions and depreciation and everything that go along with agricultural businesses is why in the past many large corporations and stuff would get into agriculture because there's a lot of tax benefits for it. So there's many tax advantages to get into this process. But also, one of the next most important questions is people ask, how do they exit back out of it? So the exit strategy really is the current rising population, the younger generation coming up, has a great interest in getting reconnected to land and connection. So you may not be reselling your easement. You can sell them. It's not like you can't sell them. They just come as what they call an encumbered property. But there is a greater interest for someone that is now 25 as they move towards 30 or whatever to get onto land rather than go live in a condo again or go live in a townhouse. They get stuck in that. They think that's the only thing they can do. But this is an opportunity for them to get back onto land, even though they are not from a family of landowners.
Yeah, this really is an exciting opportunity. So let's say someone has 100 acres of land, or they're looking at a plot of land that's that big. How do they determine if it's a good fit for conserving that land?
Well, almost all around the country, there are land trusts, or as I say, these organizations, the Cattlemen's Association or the USDA Land Conservation Organization. That would be the first place to ask, to say, how does this tract of land? I see this tract of land. I know I could get it for a reasonable price. Is that going to fit in a conservation easement approval? And it does have to be approved. Not your opinion is what matters. The state or the land trust, they're the ones because they're the ones that are going to pay you for conserving it. Okay, so they have to approve it. That's where you would start and just say, I have this tract. What do you think of this one? And then if it is, then you go to, all right, but what can I do for the sustainable revenue stream that even if I'm not on it, I could either hire somebody or I could get a partnership into an ag production or hospitality or, rare breeds being raised on a small scale livestock instead of massive scale livestock. You then start to say, what is my market around me? So fortunately, in my case, is Durango, the area has about 57,000 people. So there's a strong market for consumption of food products, It's also a tourist area, so hospitality is a very prominent place. So you have to look what your markets are around. But you could also create some of the experiential hospitality people developing in the middle of Tennessee, getting the opportunity to be in a tree house up on the top of a mountain, and you've conserved the 150 acres around it. People are very attracted to go to that retreat in that remote space. And that's a great example of a similar project. I didn't do it, that someone else has done, and recognized that privacy, that kind of experience in their someone else's now Airbnb experience. People are seeking that, and especially the next generation coming up.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure as you know, there's a lot of Airbnb places you can go to now, but a lot of the success it boils down to what that experience is like. So that goes hand in hand with the uniqueness of the land that you're talking about here.
Correct. And again, you just have to be thinking differently than anybody else. I have been that the story, a little bit of my life story is in 1980, I was part of a project associated with Colorado State University and the University of Denver, in bringing quinoa to the Colorado agriculture. Well, in 1980, nobody could even pronounce the word quinoa. Nobody knew what it is. But now it is something that even people in the market, you know, are so surprised how quickly it developed into consumption. And everybody knows of it, good or bad. You might not like it, but um, so you have to be willing to think something very unique, like introducing quinoa in 1980, you know, like building a treehouse in the middle for an Airbnb, but a very fancy treehouse for an Airbnb in the middle of Tennessee.
Yeah, wow, these are some really really creative things that are, blazing a new trail. Jennifer, when it comes to what you have going on with land conservation, what's on the horizon for you? What projects are you excited about?
So we just are adding an additional 40 or 75 acre tract to the north of our current easement. And we're renovating a 5,000 square foot residence. And this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about financing. It has been very interesting, very creative financing, and certainly have had to go to private lenders. Most, again, banks and things don't find this to be that fits their little check boxes of exactly, how much income, because you don't know how much income you're going to make because you're doing something that nobody's ever done before in terms of, I'm going to create this wellness and retreat center, which is what we're putting this 5,000 square foot residence into. And it is, it's again, yes, we can kind of estimate this is what we're going to be using it for, but it is very unique. So having to get connected with private lenders, create good business plans of thinking of what the business. So we're also putting agroforestry on our 36-acre sod farm, which is creating then a more biodiverse as well as a diverse market stream. We'll still be able to harvest sod, but now we're going to look to nuts and timber trees for a very long-term vision of what is a return on that property. So I'm really looking forward to getting our wellness and retreat center on this next 75 acres that are very conservation worthy for both archaeological and wildlife zones. It's also a scenic view, so it matches conservation value. Because I'm adding it into mine, it'll be much easier. But again, there's a couple other locations within the county that I think we could be running a similar project on in the area of 400-acre tracts. So our complete project for this one will finish out at about 700 to 800 acres.
That is really exciting. Now, when you were talking about the 5,000 square foot residence, is that going to become the wellness center, or
Correct.
were those two separate projects?
No, yeah, that will become the wellness center gathering location. It's a very unique architectural structure that was easy. It's going to be easily transitioned into a retreat. It was built in 1980 as a place to gather people together, even though it was a two-person residence. It has big open spaces, lots of large kitchen, space that, plus it's very remote in terms of, yes, we're only 4 miles out of town. We're 15 minutes from the airport, but you get onto this piece of property and it feels like you're, in the middle of nowhere. So it has a lot of opportunities to develop into that retreat. It's not a stretch at all. Again, very fortunate to have that opportunity to get this property and to do that. Again, I'm not saying every household that you're going to be able to purchase on land is going to be ideal for this, but again, this works. But it is, again, it's a separate business from the equine center. It's a separate business from the sod farm, from the organic food production. So we have all of these various businesses running on various tracks that are all then held by one real estate holding company. And we are able to then sell partnerships into these operations as a and revenue stream. Exit is they can sell out their partnerships. My sons then have the opportunity to either come back to the farm and do these things or not. They could be continuing their careers elsewhere and then hire people to run these, but they will be still holding all the land. They did not have to give up the land in order for these things to happen.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Jennifer, this has been such an insightful conversation. And I think you've really inspired a lot of listeners with what's possible with their land. If someone listening today wants to connect, reach out, maybe they're interested in a partnership, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You can email me is the best way. And I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you my email. Well, yeah. So email is weaselskin.institute@gmail.com. And the reason the project is called Project Weaselskin because this was an area where the Southern Ute family and clan of Weaselskins had resided for many years. And so it is just kind of called an area, like you might call an area something like, oh, that's South End or that's Aurora or something. So this area is generally, historically had been called the Weaselskin area. And so we just feel that it's respectful to continue that call of the land. That's what it's been called. So weaselskin.institute@gmail.com. DSM Land LLC is the real estate company. It's a Colorado company. And then we have various other businesses that run on them. It's not hard to find me. I am Durango's still kind of a small town, so if you have an opportunity to come to Durango, it is a tourist-oriented area, but we also have experiential hospitality for you out on Project Weaselskin.
And it's so cool that you are keeping the name and the history there too, Jennifer. Thanks again for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me because as I grew up and first started this project, it was definitely viewed that land conservation and real estate business were on two separate sides. And now I definitely feel that the power of being able to use real estate business models like buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and do it again fit in putting land into conservation. So there is a way to have both of them happen at the same time. And it's been a process of trying to convince others that you can do that without having to be Ted Turner, Jack Malone, or Bill Gates.
We're happy to share that message on the podcast today. And for our listeners, if you got value from this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the Real Estate Pros podcast. We've got more conversations lined up with pros like Jennifer, who are out there building fantastic and sustainable real estate businesses. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.